Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's announcement on the new hydrogen funding. We're going to start with remarks from CPKC Rails, and then we'll move on to Honorable Rebecca Schulz, Minister of Environment and Protected Areas. Then we'll hear from Emissions Reductions Alberta, and then Alberta Innovates. Following the formal remarks, we'll take questions in the room and on the phone.
Good morning. On behalf of CPKC, I'd like to welcome Minister Schulz, Mr. Reimer, and Ms. Gilcrease to our main Ogden headquarters. At CPKC, we believe that moving freight by rail will continue to play an important role in Alberta and North American economy as we decarbonize. Rail is 4 times more fuel efficient than highway transportation, generating up to 75% fewer greenhouse gas emissions. Still, though, here at CPKC, we believe that working hard and innovating to further decarbonize our industry is necessary. CPKC's hydrogen locomotive program has created North America's first line-haul hydrogen-powered locomotive. This program has the potential to significantly reduce GHG emissions within our industry in North America and support a low-carbon future. After emissions reductions, Alberta announced $15 million in funding in 2021. This allowed us to expand our hydrogen locomotive program to 2 additional zero-emission locomotives, in addition to establishing hydrogen production and refueling infrastructure right here in Alberta, with one of those locations right here on our main campus. Last month, ERA announced another $7 million in funding to further support conversions of 2 additional locomotives. These locomotives are just one example of sustainability leadership and innovation here at CPKC. The kind of innovations that ERA and Alberta Innovates invest in to help deliver on Alberta's environmental and economic goals. Our CPKC team will continue to develop and implement innovations like our hydrogen locomotive program, with 2 real examples that are right behind me today. These examples will drive safety, sustainability, reliability, and efficiency, and have the potential to change the freight rail industry worldwide. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Alberta Minister of Environment and Protected Areas, Rebecca Schulz, to begin today's announcement. Minister?
Thank you.
Sorry, just a little shorter. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here this morning. It's so great to be here to announce new funding for Made in Alberta hydrogen technology and innovation. Before we get to the announcement, I do want to thank the team at CPKC for hosting us here this morning. It's actually very fitting that we're here today. CP Rail is one of Canada's oldest and most storied companies. Since 1881, its trains have helped transport, shape, and build our country. At the same time, CP is embracing the future. The hydrogen-fueled locomotive behind me is a potential game changer for the way goods, freight, and people move across continents. This hydrogen train is also a great example of the type of exciting innovations that we hope to help bring online through our announcement today. When we talk about diversifying the economy and reducing emissions, hydrogen is one of the ways that we're doing exactly that. We're already Canada's largest hydrogen producer. Roughly 2/3 of this country hydrogen comes from right here in Alberta. And the last few years have seen major projects announced. This includes Dow's Net Zero Carbon Emissions Complex, the first project of its kind in the world. And it includes Air Products' multi-billion-dollar net zero hydrogen energy complex, which is the first of its kind in North America. And we're just getting started. Alberta is capable of producing some of the lowest cost clean hydrogen in the world, which is why we're working to attract even more investment and driving innovation forward. Guided by our hydrogen roadmap and emissions reduction and energy development plan, we want Alberta to be at the forefront of this work. That's why today we're here to announce that Alberta is investing $45 million to help fund hydrogen innovations across our province. Using the Technology, Innovation, and Emissions Reduction Fund, or TIER, we will launch 2 new competitions. A $25 million funding competition through Emissions Reduction Alberta for later stage development, and a $20 million funding competition through Alberta Innovates Hydrogen Centre of Excellence for earlier stage innovations. The Government of Canada will also provide up to $5 million more. This means $50 million is available to help drive hydrogen innovations. Alberta is known for its entrepreneurial spirit, and we're seeking proposals from the best of the best, the trailblazers, and the big thinkers. If you're a researcher or an innovator, a company or industry developing innovative hydrogen technologies, these competitions are for you. This funding will drive cutting-edge and first-of-their-kind hydrogen technologies to be used in production, transmission, and distribution, as well as storage. It will support industries like heavy-duty transportation, industrial heat, and chemicals. Laura and Justin will share more details on each competition in just a few moments, but I do just want to end with this. With a growing world hydrogen economy and significant economic and environmental benefits, this is something that Alberta is excited to be part of. A thriving hydrogen industry brings new jobs to our province and sets up a future where Alberta leads the way in clean fuel options. Clean hydrogen is already produced in Alberta with projects that are capturing emissions from hydrogen production, like the Scotford Complex, Nutrien's Redwater Fertilizer Facility, and the Northwest Redwater Partnership's Sturgeon Refinery. We're also home to the Alberta Carbon Trunk Line, the world's largest CCUS system, which is another example of world-leading infrastructure in our clean hydrogen economy, one with boundless potential. We're proud of our diverse energy industry in Alberta, from oil and gas to renewable energy resources, extensive pipeline network, and energy infrastructure, as well as value-added technology and innovations like hydrogen. I'm certain through this competition we'll see a host of inspiring technologies. I'll now hand it over to Justin to tell us more about the technical aspects of ERA's funding call.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Minister Schulz, for being here today to help us launch this exciting competition. And want to thank the Government of Alberta for its continued commitment to helping Alberta transition to a low-carbon future. The government's commitment to hydrogen, as illustrated by the Minister, underscores its potential of what a massive opportunity it is for this great province of ours. I'd also like to thank everyone at Canadian Pacific Kansas City for hosting us today, and Kyle, thank you for your leadership. The hydrogen locomotive behind us is one of ERA's funded projects that I enjoy talking about the most. It is the first ever fueled freight haul locomotive in North America, hydrogen. It goes beyond the brilliance of the retrofitting, as this used to be a diesel locomotive and was converted into hydrogen. It's about tapping into expertise in this province. There's a firm called Bilton Welding and Manufacturing in Innisfail, Alberta, that actually develops the conversion kits for this locomotive. And they've traditionally relied on the oil and gas sector for most of their revenue. Now they have a new stream of business. The hydrogen locomotive is 100% made in Alberta technology by NRE's, their traction motor, by NRE Electronics that has been working closely with everyone at CPKC. Imagine if Innisfail was to become one of the hubs for converting North America's locomotives to hydrogen. This is a very real and exciting possibility, and it's a big reason why we at ERA invested $22 million into this fantastic project. And as the Minister has said, it is thrilling to see how you can change the transportation industry through the hydrogen locomotive and inspiring the world with what is possible. I'd also like to thank Laura and the team at Alberta Innovates, who have been tremendous partners to us at ERA, with Innovates focusing on the earlier stage innovations in clean tech and ERA supporting the later stage innovations. This targeted and coordinated effort between us and our two organizations with funding from the Government of Alberta is required to make sure there's a healthy pipeline of hydrogen technologies across the value chain. So a quick breakdown, as the Minister went over, of today's $50 million in funding. $25 million in funding will come from ERA. That will support the late-stage innovations through our Accelerating Hydrogen Challenge. $20 million through Alberta Innovates to support earlier stage innovations through the Hydrogen Centre of Excellence Competition 2, and an additional $5 million from Natural Resources Canada. And I am confident the success of this funding opportunity will be a catalyst for many more opportunities to come. The Minister mentioned the fact that Alberta is emerging as a front runner in the global hydrogen arena. And as often is the case in the energy sector, Alberta has been at the forefront and leading the way in many areas. The projects selected through this challenge will create a pipeline of hydrogen technologies in production, storage, transmission, and end use. Projects will be evaluated on their ability to contribute to the broader hydrogen ecosystem and how to help and expand and diversify technologies currently in place. To date, ERA has invested $60 million in hydrogen technologies across the value chain, everything from hydrogen-powered trucks to trains, to transit buses, to fueling stations, and a net zero production complex. ERA is thrilled to be working with companies like Air Products, Suncor, ATCO, the City of Edmonton, Aurora Hydrogen, Alberta Motor Transport Association, and other partners who have been funded to support their hydrogen technology demonstrations. And while they are clearly thriving, it's just the beginning. We're on the precipice of a new sector in this province, and it's so exciting to be a part of it. We want to help technology developers move their projects forward by de-risking their investments and helping them advance novel technologies across the hydrogen space. With our colleagues from Alberta Innovates, we will do this by supporting innovators at all stages of development, with investments ranging from $250,000 to up to $7 million of projects of all sizes. And I'm pleased to announce now that the challenge is open for applications on the ERA website. Clean technology and clean hydrogen has the potential to be an essential component of our integrated energy system, decarbonizing sectors that are hard to abate and growing various sectors of our economy. That said, the technologies require significant investments in de-risking, an investment that can be made thanks to Alberta's tier funds and the work by my great colleagues at ERA and Alberta Innovates. I'm now going to hand things over to Laura Kilgrease with Alberta Innovates.
Back to the short person again. Well, thank you, Justin. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Kyle, and thank you, Minister Schulz. For those of you not familiar with Alberta Innovates, we are the province's most comprehensive research and innovation agency. And we're very proud to be the home of Alberta's Hydrogen Centre of Excellence. Yes, this backed by the applied research and engineering expertise of our subsidiaries Innotech Alberta and CIFA Technologies. The centre is a funding program, a testing and servicing facility, and a forum facilitating partnerships to de-risk hydrogen technology development across the whole value chain from production to end use. You know, Alberta is already set to be the global supplier of hydrogen with massive natural gas reserves, existing production and pipeline infrastructure, enormous CO2 storage capability, and with our experience in CCUS, carbon capture, utilization and storage, we have everything ready to go. So, in Alberta, we're also, as the Minister said, Canada's largest producer of hydrogen, manufacturing approximately 2.5 million tonnes of hydrogen per year. But that's only us here. The worldwide hydrogen market is estimated to be over $2.5 trillion, yes, trillion dollars by the year 2050. And as the largest manufacturer of hydrogen in Canada, we can do more for the rest of the globe to make them a net zero economy. You know, a company by the name of IAE reported that the global demand of hydrogen is roughly today about 94 million tonnes in 2021. But they're producing demand by 2030. The demand will be more than 180 million tonnes, which really will help our overall net zero scenario. And with a third of that produced from fossil fuels and CCUS, it's good for everyone. Another report by PwC has projected the demand could be as much as 500 million tonnes by 2050. So whether you believe the $2.5 trillion or the 500 million tonnes of hydrogen, whatever it is, it's large, and we want a piece of that action worldwide. None of these estimates are new to many of you, but they're really within sight now. However, they do frame the challenges ahead for us. How we develop the technologies, the processes, the standards to be built out in the value chain so that we can get hydrogen to the customers of the future and in a form that they can reliably use and safely use. That's where the Hydrogen Center of Excellence comes into play, helping to narrow the gap between our current production and expertise and the growing market demands. This is what makes me so very pleased to be here with my colleague Justin from ERA and Minister Schulz from Environment, because it's together at this Hydrogen Center of Excellence that we announced this second, not first, second, folks, funding competition. Last year, we did very well with our first funding competition of 20 million with our partners, and that actually produced 18 mid-stage technology development and engineering and design studies to advance these promising technologies in hydrogen for deployment here at home in Alberta and deployment in an export market. Believe it or not, that 20 million garnered project values to the tune of over $130 million. That's how much industry is looking for this. So can you imagine if that's what we could do with 20 million with our partners today, what we're going to do with 50 million and how that's going to affect the future for us all. We're pleased with these results so far, which is why we're looking forward to this competition number 2. I won't repeat to you how the money has come together, the 50 million, but needless to say, the partnerships in an industry as big as this are absolutely key. The partners between us together here, but the partners between industry working together are equally important. So, if you're listening, if I say it again, if you are listening, and if you're interested, expressions of interest are due by 5 o'clock on September 26th. You have plenty of time to tell us what you're thinking about. Successful applicants will be invited to submit full proposals, and our plan is to have a really quick turnaround in terms of our due diligence and the work that we'll jointly do together. There is so much potential around hydrogen as an energy source, and Alberta Innovates with ERA and the ministry, Minister Schulz, is very pleased to be a partner with our government, with the rest of you to make sure this happens. I think with this, you probably have enough information from me, but more importantly from us together. And all I can say is remember, if you're interested, move forward now. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming today. We're going to open it up to questions, and we're going to start in person, and it'll be one question and one follow-up, and then we'll move on to the line there.
Hi, Sean Polzer, Western Standard. When can we expect to see a hydrogen filling station for cars?
It's a great question. So,
given that Edmonton has one now.
Yeah, so there's a number of fueling stations currently in development. ERA has helped to support these. Some of these, in fact, the rail behind you is fueled by a mobile fueling station built by Air Products recently, and there's one that's available to the Edmonton International Airport to fuel the cars that they've developed. I know Suncor's in the current process of developing one. I'm not sure when the one for Calgary's slated to begin, but there is going to be a hydrogen fueling station in Calgary and one for Edmonton within the foreseeable future. We're hoping more will spurn, but it's very much a chicken and egg situation. So we're hoping this competition and other projects down the road fuel more fueling stations. Looking forward to that.
As a follow-up, I was a few minutes late here for the announcement. Where exactly is the hydrogen coming from? And I'm assuming these are transnational trains. Is there going to be hydrogen infrastructure available in other parts of the country?
Yeah, so the hydrogen here in Calgary is being produced by a 1 megawatt electrolyzer that's located on our campus. The power for that electrolyzer is being generated by our 5 megawatt solar farm that we have on our main campus here, so it'll be a green hydrogen source. We've also installed an electrolyzer in the process of in Edmonton, Alberta. As we expand the program westward, we're looking at a combination of mobile refueling by working with, as Mr. Reimer said, companies like Air Products, and then looking at installing some fixed infrastructure. So we'll be rolling that out westward as we continue to develop additional locomotives.
Okay, and I don't mean to
Wonderful.
overstep, but
Thank you.
pipeline, is there talk of a hydrogen pipeline in Alberta?
We can actually move to the phones now. Moderator, if you could add in our next caller.
There are no questions on the phone at this time.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, everybody.